Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we defend the Constitution. Because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from the Cottage Studio. You can check out my website, thehohoshow.com. I'm all over the place on social media and a proud member of Weaponized Sloth Productions. So welcome to the Ho-Ho Show on Weaponized Sloth Productions Radio, WSP.FM. Download the app today, available only in the Google Play Store. So welcome, everybody. Welcome Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Periscope, Facebook, and of course Spreaker. How y'all's doing? And welcome, Mr. Nick over there in Facebook land. Good to see you, sir. So yeah, we just all kinds of stuff going on, ow, that kind of hurt. So, last week was Groundhog's Day, and Puxatomi, Phil, that lovable groundhog that was made famous from the Bill Murray movie Groundhog's Day, he evidently did not see his shadow, I guess predicting an early spring, or maybe he did see his shadow. Early spring is what they predicted, so screw you, polar vortex. I like you. It was cold, man, like 100-degree temperature swing in like a week. That was awesome. Real field temperature. I don't know what the actual temperature was. I've slept since then. It was cold, I know that much. I mean, holy crap, it was cold. In other news, so I seen this thing on Facebook, all right, and I tell you what, I don't know who this guy was. Last time I read the article, I didn't see... I didn't see who it was. I didn't see, anything as far as a name. They wasn't releasing any of that information at the time. But Fox News reported that a Colorado runner was mauled by a mountain lion, and he choked the animal to death. I don't know who this guy was, but props to you, First responders on the scene, they said that the guy was like, "Here, kitty." No, that's totally false. I'm just kidding. Absolutely. But yeah, the guy, was jumped by a cat, jumped by a mountain lion, and wrestled with the thing, ended up killing the mountain lion, and then hopping in his vehicle, and then going to the doctor in order to get his, stuff taken care of. I was like, holy crap, I don't know who this guy is. I wouldn't want to mess with him. I'm just saying. That had to have been, mountain lion, are you kidding me? Them things have teeth and claws and stuff. It's kind of like a teddy bear. Not a teddy bear. But a cat, it's just cool. All right. Yeah, I was like, dude, that guy is just impressive to me in my book, holy crap. Yeah, so anyway. Yeah, there's just all kinds of stuff to talk about because we've got, the State of the Union address that was earlier in the week, Tuesday, I think is when it was. Just the first actual State of the Union address that I have watched in its entirety, and it was kind of long too. It was like an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. I mean, holy crap, it was actually pretty long. I think last year's was about the same, same length, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was pretty long too. But there's a lot of things that he said, man, what was with them white shirts? I mean, holy crap, they just had to be important, it's all about me. This thing is all about me. White shirts. This holy crap. You kidding me? And it was fun, man, because there was a couple times in that State of the Union address there was a couple times that it was just like, just the look of sheer disgust on some of the faces of the Democrats. It was just outstanding, just amazing. I loved it whenever President Trump was talking about, he was talking about, us being a free country, and that we will never, become a socialist nation. And you've got, Bernie Sanders, and you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, Miss Potato Head herself. Just the look of disgust and disdain on her face was just amazing. I mean, it was great. I was just so impressed by their absolute lack of any movement whatsoever. I'm like, did she recently have Botox or something? I mean, her face just isn't moving. Nothing. I mean, there was a couple times that it was like, oh yeah, fine. Her face finally came alive. But there was a couple times, I mean, it was just, that was it. That's all you got from her. I mean, it was just that blank, just ticked off. I was like, holy crap, It was hilarious. It really was. It was great. But, speaking of Anna Costa-Cortez, and this I found absolutely hilarious. And if you guys go to a website, click on the newsfeed tab, there is a link to Flipboard, which is my go-to hub for everything, anything, and all things news. You guys can check that out, and a link to every single article that I use in the show. You guys can find that there. I try to be completely transparent on that stuff, on the articles that I use. It's all dated, easy to find, and everything else. But back to Ocasio-Cortez. Back to her. So one of the things, the big thing that she is promoting and going for right now is the Green New Deal. Okay, that's one of the things that they're going for right now, Green New Deal. All right, and according to, this was the Western Journal. Okay, she's basically contradicting herself on the things that she's talking about, the things that she's saying about it, because at first they was like, oh, no, this isn't going to entail a bunch of government overreach and them just taking control of the industry, all that other kind of stuff. And then later on, she was like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I guess I would have to say that, the only way to do this is by a complete, government, intervention is what they were calling it, a government intervention. Okay, so basically you want to completely dismantle everything as far as the energy sector is concerned, because you want to get us down to, what did she call it, like zero emissions or whatever, a net zero. That's what she was wanting to get us down to, a net zero, because she knew that a zero emissions was impossible because, I just don't think we can get rid of cow farts and we can't get rid of airplanes, in a decade. Really? So part of your main thing that you're concerned about is cow farts? Interesting. I mean, she's clearly a brilliant woman. Clearly brilliant woman. And, it's one of the things that maybe not. Oh, Zach. Hello, sir, over there in YouTube. How are you doing? Good to see you. Two people, same house. That's awesome. So, yeah. Anyway, back to my thought. She is, she's definitely just her ignorance on some things, and there's some facts and figures and whatnot that I think you guys should be pretty much aware of. There is here we go. Let me get into it. From Politico. Love this man. It's crazy. It's loony. Republicans giddy as Democrats champion the Green New Deal. Oh, yeah. They're excited about that. So, just so you guys know, green energy, which is, from renewable energy sources, only amount to about 11%. Let me find that figure in here. At least I'm pretty sure it's in here. Crap. Maybe it was in the other one. Hold on. Maybe it was in the other one. But we will get back to that article here in just a second, though. I'm going to get in that because there's something in there that I want to talk about, because it's crazy as money. Anyway, 11%. Let me try to find it. Holy crap. Yeah, there we go. So, about 11% of the country's total energy consumption currently comes from renewable energy sources. All right. In addition, petroleum, 37%, natural gas, 29%, coal, 14%, and nuclear, 9%. See, and this is one of the things, too, that is interesting, and I've seen this in another article not that long ago, and it was basically saying that, they're not really interested in, a net zero for emissions. They're really not, because if they did, they would include in that nuclear energy, which doesn't have any emissions whatsoever. What they're after is government overreach. They just want to seize power, seize control, and they are after simply, it's going to destroy the economy. Let's just be blunt, honest, and clear about it. It's going to absolutely destroy the economy. How can it not? She's wanting to get rid of 89% of our energy in a matter of 11 years. That's insane. Now, here's a couple aspects about this that I want you guys also to be aware of and be clear on. Let's be completely clear. If it wasn't for some money-hungry, corporations out there, the coal industry, the oil industry, if it wasn't for them, there would be a lot more different options out there, along with if it wasn't for government regulations and different things of that nature. The Machine Radio Show, welcome over there in YouTube land. Sure hope I look better than that on here. I don't know, man. It doesn't get much worse than this. I have a face for radio. Come on. Seriously. Look at this. Yeah, face for radio. I'm telling you. But anyway, you totally ruined my train of thought. I hate it whenever that happens. But anyway, yeah. See, if it wasn't for the regulatory process, if it wasn't for... I have a frog in my throat. It's like, holy crap, I hate that. Ugh, Mountain Dew. Good stuff, not a sponsor. Let's just put it like this. The internal combustible engine has been obsolete my entire life. Since 1978, there has been other different ways of doing it. There's been all kinds of different, ways of making a motor, different things that it can run on and stuff like that. This stuff gets scrapped. It gets bought by big corporation. It gets bought by whomever. It gets, just sunk down. They're not able to, launch. They're not able to do it. They're not able to do any of that. But if we're going to be perfectly clear on things, the biggest way to stifle renovation is through the regulatory process, because it's that oh man, he put something else on here. And see, that's why we're all on radio. Exactly, that's why we're all on radio. Yep. Fugly crew. Her plan, in which she tried to take down, was a serious, laughable attempt at lunacy. Absolutely, Machine. You have definitely got that right. But yeah, what... it's the regulatory process, and it's just all the red tape that different corporations and different places have to go through whenever it comes to doing anything outside of, I guess you could say, the norm. That's why we only have 3, 4, cell phone companies out there. That's why we have, that's why it's so hard to actually do celestial radio, because you just can't, deal with the FCC and all that crap. That's why there's been no new innovations in that. Really, when was the last time you seen any innovation in cell phones, in AM/FM radio? When was the last time you've seen any innovations in those fields? Why have we not seen renovations? Innovations, not renovations, innovations. English, I'm telling you. English is amazing. But why have you not seen any innovations in those fields? The FCC, the regulatory process, because there's gatekeepers keeping everything, down. And, we have the communications, at least with internet and different things of that nature. But as far as AM/FM, as far as celestial, You know, they put a cap on things. You know, they always have, they always will. Point is, hold on. We don't do regular radio because the FCC will not allow you have got that right. They don't like the use of certain words. That is absolutely true, Machine. And that's why we don't do the FCC. We don't like the FCC. I seen headlights. Never mind. Anyway, and if it wasn't for that, we would have seen and can see so many innovations in the field of green energy if it wasn't for some of the regulatory process, some of the red tape that they got to go through in order to do that. I mean, fact of the matter is, if all they would do, okay, is release some of the hold on things, it wouldn't be bad. Okay, and here's the thing, though, too, and they don't like to talk about this, that we have dramatically decreased our emissions, dramatically decreased it. Why? Innovation. That's what it's amounted to. You know, it's to save money through innovation, to be more energy efficient, you know. So there's just a couple, there's another aspect on this Green New Deal that they're talking about, and that is rebuilding or retrofitting every single building in the entire United States of America. And who's going to pay for all this? I mean, it's absolutely laughable that this is what she is wanting to do by doing nothing more than seizing power, seizing control, and she's wanting to do this all, or not just she, there's others involved in this too, but they're wanting to do this in the next 11 years, okay? Now, 7 deadly words. What you saying? What you saying, Mr. Roger? 7 deadly words. What you saying? What you saying? But anyway, oh yeah, by the way, hi, Roger. But here's something that I thought was absolutely hilarious. I seen an article there on Flipboard, and let me get into this. It appears as though 2020 that Ocasio-Cortez may not actually have a seat, or at least the same seat, in the Senate. Oh yeah, you heard me right. You heard me right. New York Democrats could eliminate Ocasio-Cortez's district after 2020. This article is from The Intercept. All right, so I guess she is causing waves within the Democratic Party, and I guess this actually dates back to a law that was written in. Oh, I read that in here. I read it. From a law that was written in 2012, maybe? There are 7 words that the FCC regulate. Ah, yes. And yes, she is an idiot. Absolutely. Oh, Roger, you was an actual radio. Oh, yeah, that's right. You wasn't you? I forgot about that. But yeah, so they're because she's causing waves, because she is just a moron. She's an idiot. She's a 29-year-old that really doesn't. She just doesn't get it, you know. They are actually looking at a redistricting, and this comes from a law that went back a while ago. You know, just a redistricting of New York itself. And 2020, they think that that it's basically her seat's going to be, her district isn't even going to be there. Okay, that's more or less what they're saying. And instead of, you know, and maybe this is, of course, there's going to be an election involved in this, I'm sure, you know, in 2020 after the redistricting with the election, it's, you know, there's probably going to be stuff that's going on. You know, I mean, I'm sure she can run in a different, you know, a different seat, you know, but see, one of the things that they were talking about doing was they were trying to, you know, get her, well, not removed, but they were trying to fund somebody else to oppose her in the next election anyway. And I guess that idea just kind of fell through. So this was the next step that they were looking at doing, was getting rid of her through the redistricting. I can speak, real I can, in New York. Yes. Whew. Yeah, she is definitely comedy gold. I'll tell you that much. You know, thank you for the Democratic voters for bringing her to us. However, she also be terrifying. We, she also be terrifying. Really, man, you need to learn how to type, man. Type English. We should, not we, she. Okay, I got you. I got you. You missed a couple letters in there. That's okay. That's okay. And speaking of, I got to kind of slide into this because this is something that, as we approach that 1 year mark, I mean, well, we've already approached it, that 1 year mark. This is whenever the Democratic, this is whenever people start throwing their hat into the arena for a bid for the 2020 election. So there have been several people. Well, let me get into it. There has been several people that has already thrown the bid in for a 2020 bid presidential race. And some of those. Oh, come on. Anyway. And I'm actually doing a running thing on this whenever I see articles for Democratic bids into it. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that into the same magazine. I did another magazine putting all them stuff in there. But we do have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She has begun fundraising for the 2020 election, and which is absolutely hilarious because, here's an aspect about this that I find funny. She's 29. You have to be 35 in order to be president. Her claim is that the Constitution says that a man has to be 35 in order to run, and since she is not a man, she is a woman, therefore that distinction isn't there, so she can go ahead and run. Oops. Sorry about that. Bam! There we go. That's what they're saying. That's not accurate. That's not accurate in the least. See, the Constitution says a person running for president has to be 35 years of age. But apparently she wants to, maybe self-identify as a potato, since we all identify her as that anyway, and go ahead and try to run on that basis. I don't know. I don't know what her plan is. I think she wants to push the issue and, make some type of a debate and take it to the Supreme Court, and hopefully there's enough people that support her on the run. Maybe she'll be able to run. I don't know what her plan is. I really don't. Who knows what's going on in her brain? Anyway, of others who have made a bid for the 2020 presidential race, we have Tulsi Gabbard. She officially launched her campaign. Michael Bloomberg, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker. But the person who the person who actually terrifies them more than anybody else is this gentleman right here, Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks. He's the person who they are completely terrified of more than anybody else, and here's why. The Democrats are freaking nuts. Okay, you have a political party that is pro late-term abortion. 81% of people polled are completely against. Completely against. Oh, how did that thing word it? Hold on a second, I'll get there. Never mind. It doesn't matter. But you have a killing babies. You have extremely high taxes, like what 90% tax rate that they're wanting to impose. Jack the taxes up way high, and you have a party that is hell bent on taking away everybody's guns. Okay, seizing control of the energy sector. To become green energy, because that's basically what, in order for them to do the Green New Deal, that's what they're going to have to do, is seize control of the entire, energy sector, period, socialize it, which is one of the things I loved about President Trump, the whole, we will never be a socialist nation anyway. People whom are far left, okay, far left. And the only thing that they have to do is not quite be so radical. Isn't that what they need to do, is be not so radical? So here comes, Howard Schultz. Elizabeth Sacagawea. Yes. Ho for POTUS. Oh, no, sir. That would not happen. Elizabeth Sacagawea-Warren, yes, yes. But here comes Howard Schultz. Okay, he is a true rags to riches story. Okay, he's somebody whom started off with nothing, built an empire. Starbucks. Okay, he is a fiscally conservative person. Which, I mean, let's face it, everybody is fiscally conservative when it comes to tax time. Tax time, everybody's fiscally conservative. So he is fiscally conservative, a true rags to riches story, somebody whom is socially liberal, so he's kind of in with the alphabet people, the LGBTQ, LMNOP people, and, all that good stuff. He is more down to earth. He is completely boring. If you ever listen to the man talk, there is no energy in there whatsoever. It's like listening to Ben Stein, Bueller. That's what you got with this guy. It's like, holy crap, man, do some energy. Move your face or something. Come on. Anyway, somebody whom, man, I hate coughing. Somebody who represents a not so crazy candidate. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Okay, you guys ready for this? Here's the kicker. He is not running on the Democratic, as a Democrat. He's not running as a Democrat. Truth be told, he would get slammed if he was, because he can't check enough boxes. You have Elizabeth Sacagawea-Warren, who can check the Native American. You have Anacostia Cortez, who can check the hyphenated last name box. She can also check out the woman box. She can check off the Mexican box. She's got boxes she can check off. Okay, but Howard Schultz doesn't have any of these boxes, so they're going to play identity politics and just cream him, saying that his story doesn't matter because you're an old white guy. That's what it's going to amount to. They're going to play identity politics on him, totally cream him. That's why he's not even running as a Democrat. Instead, he's running as an independent, and the Democrats couldn't be more ticked off at him. It is so great. I mean, dude, I'm ecstatic about this. I'm happy to see this guy come in. And then, of course, with Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg. Yeah, with him, I'm excited to see this, because you have, not necessarily with Michael Bloomberg, but definitely with Howard Schultz, you have somebody who represents a more center type of a view. I mean, maybe not so much political view. I really have no idea on the guy. I haven't done any homework on him. I really have no clue. All I know is Democrat. That's all I need to know. It doesn't matter. Okay. But he's going to, or this is why they're ticked at him, is because he's going to split the Democratic vote. Basically, their assumption is completely giving the 2020 race as a President Trump victory. Yes. So definitely stay in the race, man. And, I really do hope Anacostia Cortez really does whatever. Miss Potato Head. I would like to see her in there. I really would. Trump would just tear her up. I mean, dude, yes. Yes, Roger, he put in here the AOC can check and we're not politically correct in here, guys. Just so you know, we're not politically correct. I don't believe in political correctness. Political correctness can kiss my white hairy butt. Okay, maybe there's not so much hair on there. I don't know. I don't look. Anyway. Yeah. So, you know what, guys? We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we return, we are going to the McCain effect. Huh? Oh, yeah. When we get back, we are going to talk a little bit about, as soon as I actually find it. Oh, yeah, I got to get into the other place. I moved away from that page and got into a different page. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at for the 2020 elections. Yay. But yeah, when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about Twitter. Maybe even throw some Facebook stuff in there. But we're going to get back into the whole, Republicans or... No. We already did that. We already covered that. Yeah, a little bit about Twitter when we get back. Just a couple minutes and we will be right back. I totally hit the wrong button. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Ho Ho Show on Weaponized Sloth Productions Radio, WSP.FM. Oh, man. That was hilarious. And yes, Roger, I had, he said the McCann effect, Schultz splitting the vote like Sam McCann did here in Illinois. And yes, that is exactly why the Democrats' reaction to Schultz putting a bid in is that they are completely terrified of him because he is level-headed, somebody whom kind of represents a back to normalcy, somebody whom they, feel will the rum. Oh, where's the rum? I don't do rum. Come on now. But he's somebody that they are afraid of, and therefore they're terrified of him, and, well, that's kind of the same thing. But they are completely ticked off of him running. Lively Muffin, how you doing over there on Mixer Land? Good to see you. So, Twitter. Let's go into Twitter. So Twitter, again, proves that it doesn't care about behavior so long as you have the right politics. Now, what this article is talking about, and this is an article that came from the Red State, I guess there's been this thing that has been going around news media, the whole learn to code, I think is what it is, or maybe you should learn to code, or what is that? Yeah, learn to code. All right. So I guess, talking about people losing their jobs in different fields, I guess that their response to them is learn to code. And in which case, what's wrong with that? Okay, that's my thing. Like, I understand that they're doing it to be mean. Don't cry about it. Just, lace up your bootstraps and go back to school, learn a different trade, something you can make money on. And in which case, okay, great. Yeah, what's wrong with that? So now you've got people getting laid off in that arena, and they're like, oh, well, you can't say it to us. So one of these people, they decided that they were going to report abuse, because they called it abuse because they're saying learn to code, and got somebody banned on Twitter. And his tweet to all of his other buddies in the journalist world were like, oh, well, okay, yeah, you should do the same thing. Don't allow people to just say that kind of stuff to you. Basically, the two-faced people, they don't want to be, they don't want their own medicine. Of course. And why should we be surprised? They don't want their own medicine. So of course, you have the anti-bullying stuff that goes everywhere on there, and that's a Facebook thing, that's a Twitter thing. They don't want people to do that. That's not good behavior that they support and they recognize, and you can't do this, otherwise they will ban you. But it appears as though the only time you're really going to get banned for saying stuff like that is if you are on the right. Of course, Facebook is the same way. You have left tweets getting put out there, anti-cop this, anti-cop that, anti-Trump this, anti-Trump that, and all that stuff is all good, fine, and dandy, but you throw out one, anti-Obama, everybody goes insane. And then somebody gets reported and somebody gets banned on Facebook. You can't have, the American flag thing with the eagle under it. That's one of the things. It's like, spread this all over Facebook. I never do that. I don't care. But anyway, yeah, you've got, it's a two-faced thing. More coughing. Holy crap. I love that mute button. I tell you what, that mute button's awesome. Lets me cough in peace. Well, lets me cough and you stay in peace. Anyway. One of the things that irritates and aggravates me whenever it comes to Twitter, whenever it comes to Facebook, doing these type of things, this is really where it irritates me, okay? They claim to be a communications type of a thing, okay? That they're not restricting the movement of information, not restricting this. They are just merely, just like a telephone company, they are merely a conduit for transference of ideas and stuff, all right? That's what they claim to be, okay? But when you go into the arena of choosing what will and will not get put on somebody's newsfeed, you go from a communications type of a company into a journalistic type of a company, but yet they don't want to be held to that kind of standard. And that's really one of the things that it amounts to. I don't know where the distinction is legally. I have no clue. But that's one of the legal things that they try to abide by, which is why they always say, and with the, this went back to the hearing with the dude from Facebook, and he was like, oh, no, we don't do any of that kind of stuff with, restricting people's stuff and shutting down their accounts just because they are a conservative company. They don't do that. But one of the things that ticks me off on this is you have, okay, look, you guys know where I stand on the Constitution. You guys know where I stand on that. I had to look at the camera to know where the thing was. There you go. So, you're welcome. Spreely is a free speech-based site. Spreely. I haven't looked at that. He was caught. Check out Spreely. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check out Spreely. I haven't. I heard you mention it on your show Thursday, but I haven't gone as far as to checking it out. But anyway, here's what ticks me off on this. Now, you have everybody out there that says that, oh, it's okay to do this, that this is okay, it's fine, because it is this is a private business, and therefore they have the right to restrict, different things in their own house. And in which case, if that was true, I completely agree with you that yes, they do. Regardless of whether they are being transparent about what they're doing or not, they still have the right to do that. However, Twitter, Facebook, that's not what they are. They are not a privately owned business any more than Walmart is. They are a publicly owned business. And therefore, as a publicly owned business that puts out there that they are nothing more than a telephone line, that they are a carrier of information, much like AT&T, if you're going to throw that out there, well, what gives them the right to restrict my First Amendment right? What gives them the right to restrict my freedom of press, my freedom of speech? What gives them the right to do that if they are a publicly traded business? That's my distinction on things. Whenever it comes to that type of thing, I understand a business, whatever, but whenever you have public versus private, You know, there are certain type of things that, at least in internet world, I understand, you know, different things as far as, you know, publicly traded, who owns most of the stocks to them, I wonder. Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. I'm sure he owns a, you know, a 51%, you know, but even still, you know, even if I own like one share of Walmart, you know, that little 3-foot section that I occupy, 5-foot section that I occupy, you know, the space that I take up in the store, it kind of sort of that space belongs to me. That is mine. I am there. It's like a what's that word I'm looking for? Timeshare. It's like a timeshare type of a thing. You know, I own that when I'm there. I own a stock. I own some of this location. This space is mine. You know, kind of the same thing in Facebook land. You know, this page, you know, especially if you are owning stock in the business, this is mine. I have the right as mine, as a part owner. This is mine. I can do and say as I can, well, at least within the law, I can do as I please, as I will. That's where I'm going with that. You know, I just wish these guys were more transparent on what they were doing. And you know what? Here's the thing, though, too. And you know, Machine, you've talked about this. You know, the Brandon Gatton, the Machine, host of the Machine Radio Show, along with Mr. Vacker. I hate it whenever that happens. But anyway, I had to cough again. Let me take a drink. Okay, but shh. I was going somewhere with that. I really was. I totally forgot where I was going. You know, sometimes if I try to back the train up a little bit, I can get there. Otherwise, sometimes I can't. And I think this is one of them times when I can't. It happens. I was towards the end of my thought anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know, you guys hate that, you know, the little brain fart days when your brain does a little hiccup, knocks the train off the rails. Next thing you know, you can't think. I hate it whenever that happens. So anyway, yeah. With Facebook, with Twitter, with this kind of stuff getting out there, getting released, being more prominent, and ticking more people off. Okay, I can't wait for the next big thing. You know, I talked about it before, and talked about what before? Oh yeah, the next big thing. Yeah, so I can't wait for that next big thing. Okay, I can't wait for that because I tell you what, with the temperature of the room, with how things have been going, I fully expect that there's going to be a lot of support for it. There's going to be a lot of people that are, you know, that want to see it on both sides, not just Democrats or not just Republicans, but also Democrats. You know, I truly do think that there really is a lot of them out there that are sick and tired of the games. You know, I mean, how could you not? You know, I'm sure there's enough people out there that are sick and tired of the games when the next big thing comes, you know, in the form of a alternative Facebook, in the name of, or in the view of, the purview of an alternative Twitter, an alternative, you know, YouTube. You know, when that next big thing comes, it's not going to be very long before the thing just takes off and goes. You know, and I can't wait for that. I really can't, you know, because it's the games that they play that tick people off that it's frustrating. You know what I mean? It's definitely frustrating. All right, let's see here. I already talked about that. Let's get rid of that. Oh, and that thing went paused. Very cool. Colorado dude did the thing. You know, New York Democrats don't like her anymore. Talked about that. Howard Schultz does some stuff. Talked about him. Twitter, we don't need that. You know, there's a thing that I have been considering some of the stuff that, you know, has been goings-ons. You know, there's been some things that, news articles that has come up, some poll data that I've seen, some the position of the Democratic Party, some videos that I've seen even on Facebook. There's a topic that I have yet to talk about on the show, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really want to, but it is something that I got to be honest with you, and it's just, And the interesting thing is on this front, on this topic, the Democrats are actually losing the battle, and I don't think they quite realize it. They really are losing the battle because. Well, I really can't throw that out there unless I actually do completely and utterly talk about it. I don't want to, You know what? I'm going to take another break. And when I get back, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about a poll. We're going to talk about, that came out wrong. We're going to watch a video. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to. Like I said, I want to talk about this. We're still going to take a quick break, though. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ho Ho Show. All right, machine. He says, just do it, sissy boy. All right, fine. We'll go there. The topic I'm referring to is abortion. That is a topic that I've really not wanted to touch base on, But the fact of the matter is that the Democrats really are, they're losing the battle, A poll that was done, and this article comes from Red State. 81% of Americans believe the third trimester abortion should be highly restricted. So, they're not even winning on their own side, obviously. With 81% saying third trimester, and that's what they were even talking about. I think this went through in 3, maybe 4 different states. How can you welcome me back? I never left. Well, never mind. He's stalking me. Okay. There's 3 different states. I think Virginia, Oregon, Washington, maybe. I don't remember the states. But there's 3 different states that basically, that have gone as so far as to legalize, third trimester and even talking about fourth trimester, on up to like a few weeks even after birth, 40 weeks abortion, just it's like, holy crap, and one of the reasons why, now I'm not going to get into the religious aspect of this, don't fear, I'm not getting into the religious aspect of it, but they're losing the battle on a scientific aspect of it, because as technology increases, as we understand more about human development inside the womb, as they are able to actually see, what's going on even during an abortion, that is really starting to sour a lot of people's minds on it, to where they're very much backing away from previous, points of view and not really wanting to touch base on it, not wanting to go there anymore, So with 81% of Americans that believing that third trimester abortion should be highly restricted, it kind of self-evident that they're losing that battle, A video I seen on Facebook, it's only 2 minutes, don't worry, it's a small one. It is a doctor talking with Congress about a procedure for abortion, and in which case it's evident, one, it's kind of sad with his clinical detachment about describing the procedure, which, hey, if I was in his shoes and I was, forced to do it, which legally speaking, that's one of the things that they do. They basically force them, whatever. They would have to have some type of clinical detachment in order to do it. They would absolutely have to. But what was astonishing, I don't want to say astonishing, it wasn't even surprising to me. It was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Their reactions to hearing it described, you can tell that this is information, this is knowledge that they didn't have. Because is what the left would basically have you think is that an abortion more or less consists of cutting the cord. All you're doing is taking the baby and just cutting the umbilical cord, and that's about it. We take the baby out and then we're done. Okay, that's about it. That's what most people think. Or they want to think that it's a tumor. And as Mr. Schwarzenegger once said, I don't even have that one. Crap.
Stop whining.
It's not a tumor. I don't have that one. I thought I did, but I don't. But it's not a tumor. And that's what most people would have you think, that either it's a complete uncutting of the umbilical cord, just pulling the wire, just shutting off the machine. That's all it is. Oh, yeah, exactly. I understand that. That's just, a machine. He says wrong that, well, I'm not saying that yet. But that's what most people would want to think. They don't know. And it's very clear in watching this video that most people don't know. So let's go ahead and watch that real quick. Okay, hold on. Apparently, I have to remember to unmute. There we go.
Dr. Levatino, we'll begin with you. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee.
Yeah, watch the
I only have
reactions
5 minutes,
to
so
this.
I'm going to get right to it.
It's not 5 minutes.
Second trimester D&E abortions performed between roughly 14 and 24 weeks of gestation. Your patient today is 17 years old. She's 22 weeks pregnant. Her baby is the length of your hand plus a couple of inches. And she's been feeling her baby kick for the last several weeks, but she's asleep on an operating room table. You walk into that operating room scrubbed and gowned, and after removing laminaria, you introduce a suction catheter into the uterus. This is a 14 French suction catheter. If she were 12 weeks pregnant or less, basically the width of your hand or smaller, you could basically do the entire procedure with this.
One thing. Parental guidance is suggested. He gets kind of graphic on his details. Just thought I'd warn you. That's it. You have been warned.
But babies this big don't fit through catheters this size. After suctioning the amniotic fluid out from around the baby, you introduce an instrument called a SOFR clamp. It's about 13 inches long. It's made of stainless steel. The business end of this clamp is about 2.5 inches long and 1/2 inch wide. There are rows of sharp teeth. This is a grasping instrument. When it gets a hold of something, it does not let go. A D&E procedure is a blind abortion, so picture yourself introducing this and grabbing anything you can blindly and pull, and I do mean hard, and out pops a leg about that big, which you put down on the table next to you. Reach in again, pull out an arm about the same length, which you put down on the table next to you. And use this instrument again and again to tear out the spine, the intestines, the heart and lungs. Head on the baby that size is about the size of a large plum. Can't see it, but you pretty good idea you've got it if you've got your instrument around something and your fingers are spread about as far as they go. You know you did it right if you crush down on the instrument and white material runs out of the cervix. That was the baby's brains. Then you could pull out skull pieces. And you have a day like I had a lot of times, sometimes a little face comes back and stares back at you. Congratulations, you just successfully performed a second trimester D&E abortion. You just affirmed her right to choose.
Horrendous, isn't it? Kind of brutal, isn't it? That's what science has given us, okay? Letting us aware. Well, okay, let's put it like this, okay? Why can't we say life begins using the same measure that we say life has ended? You know, a heartbeat. Why can't we say that? You know, I understand, you know, and the argument is there's some cases, some rare cases that, you know, an abortion due to, you know, it being, you know, a health risk to the mother, but that's like, what, less than 1% of all abortions is because of that? Not my data. This comes from, you know, abortion clinics. Less than 1% are like that. That's it. There's also arguments out there as far as, you know, with, you know, mothers whom are, you know, drug addicts, you know, that was their reasoning for it, you know, well, okay, I get it. Or at least I get your reasoning. But why don't we make procedures like vasectomy? Is that the right word? You know, taking away a woman's ability to have kids if that's the type of situation that they're in, you know. And again, that's a very, well, I don't want to say that's a very low one, but, you know, it's there. I seen this meme not that long ago. It was a, you know, what, $600 some odd to abort and like $30,000 to adopt. Why don't we fix that? You know, why don't we, instead of, you know, if you don't want the child, okay, fine, put it up for adoption. You know, if it's a broken system, let's fix the system. You know, I don't understand why life is taken so, you know, taken so cheaply like that, you know, and that's not even talking about the whole, you know, the whole aspect of where Planned Parenthood actually started, how it got its start, what it, you know, what it was all about in the beginning. A lot of people don't know because they don't want to know. The Democrats don't talk about it, and for some reason, the Republicans don't use it as ammunition against the whole Planned Parenthood, funding Planned Parenthood, the whole abortion thing. They don't use it as ammunition. And I don't understand why. You know, I believe it was founded by, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was founded by Margaret Sanger, you know, if I'm not mistaken. She was a eugenist. You know, her whole entire purpose for doing Planned Parenthood was to rid our country of the undesirables. That's why Planned Parenthood is primarily found in, you know, low housing low cost neighborhoods. You know, that's why most of them are found there. to rid our society of the undesirables. And one of the reasons is like, oh, well, this is going to be, a child born into a high crime area. So in order to, help lower the crime rate, that we have to, facilitate the killing of babies. But we have seen no significant drop in crime either. Because by now, with how long Planned Parenthood and abortions have been around, we should have seen some type of a decrease in crime. We have seen a decrease in crime, but not just in those neighborhoods, all across the board. We've seen decrease in crime. So their arguments don't hold water. That's what I'm saying. Their arguments don't hold water. All right. They talk about women's rights when it comes to abortion. What of the father? He's not allowed a say. And you know what, Machine? You're absolutely right. That is an aspect of that, that should be talked about. That is definitely an aspect of it that should be discussed. If it takes, what's the marching cry that they say? No uterus, no say. I think that's what they say. But you're right though. As a, if it was my child, I would want to say. I definitely would. I believe it was, I don't remember if it was Morgan Freeman or if it was Denzel Washington. I don't remember which. But he was talking about high crime in low income areas. And one of the things that he said, it's completely correlated to, fathers not being in the home. Something that, again, the data proves, but the Democrats, again, don't want to acknowledge that as a truth. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk truth about it. Let's put it that way. They don't want to talk truth about it. And who would? Of course they don't want to talk truth about it. They say that they're a champion for minorities, but what was the last thing a Democrat did that was positive? President Obama did a lot to destroy race relations in this country. President Trump's done quite a bit to improve. Like him or hate him, I don't really care. I don't really care at all. There was another article in here. Yeah. And here's an aspect of this that I find absolutely hilarious. Okay, absolutely hilarious. Not in the ha-ha funny, but, the irony in this is absolutely hilarious. Because if you kill if you beat up, if you kill, if you do anything to a pregnant mother, you are charged. Let's say you kill a pregnant mother. You're charged with 2 counts of murder. One for the unborn child and one for the mom. And of which case, this is something from the Democrats that have done this. And they're like, I hate this. I hate this outlook. Okay. Now, granted, okay, personally, yes, I believe that you should be charged with 2 counts of murder because you are killing 2 lives. Yes, I agree with that. But in the upside down minds of the Democrats, how could they? If you are somebody who agrees that, 4th trimester abortions is something that should be legal, that until you say that child is a person, it's not. If you have that outlook, then as a Democrat, how can you say that somebody whom causes a lady to have a miscarriage or, kills a pregnant woman, how can you how can you convict them of murder if you don't see that as a person? If you don't see that as a life, then how can you? It's that whole having your cake and eating it too. How can you have both sides? How can you win on both sides of that argument if that's what you feel? But Democrats have wanted to do that. They do that. I just said do. But It's like, I don't get it. It's that whole double standard. It's that whole, it's an upside down thing. How can you say that a baby's not alive, but convict somebody of murder if they cause a miscarriage? That makes no sense. It's upside down. I don't get it. Anyway, let's move off of abortion. Let's get off this. Oh, yeah, in other news, Prince Philip has decided to stop driving after a recent car crash. Apparently last month he had a car crash, He's 97. I'm actually surprised that the guy even still drives his own vehicle. I really am. I'm kind of surprised on it. You think Prince Philip, he doesn't drive. Apparently he did. 97 years old. Still drove. Apparently he's not going to do that anymore. He's going to use, what the Queen uses, I guess. Anyway, what else I got? All right, let's see here. I think there's another article in here I was wanting to go ha-ha about. You know what? Let's talk a little bit about the wall. I haven't really talked about that in a while. This whole government shutdown, because we are in the last... None of this is on the thing, by the way. We are in the last week of the 3-week. Let's talk about this, thing as far as the shutdown. And there was a 35. I'm sure you guys are aware of a 35-day shutdown, the longest shutdown in history. And the wall, you mean the scam? Yeah, well, yeah, I read that. I did. I read that. But I think they should do it. My thing is, I think they should totally do it. I really do. But anyway, the 35-day shutdown, longest shutdown in American history, and we do definitely have an issue with illegals coming into the country by swarms, I don't know how recent some of the numbers that I have read was. As far as the yearly numbers goes, I mean, you have flocks of people that go down to the border, huge amounts of them that are just wanting to, crash through the stinking thing and come up, there you go. Now, granted, and this is one of the things that Nick is talking about with the wall being a scam, is that, there are other aspects of illegals being into this country besides just marching up the southern border. Yes, there's quite a few other ways that they get here. However, this is still something that should be talked about, should be discussed. And especially considering since President Reagan, border security, the wall, has been something that quite a few of them have voted for, have wanted, but as of yet, they have still failed to actually fund. Ronald Reagan days, they were like, hey, we have a immigration issue. Let's do this. We need to fix this. And President Reagan was like, well, I think we should have a wall. And they were like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, you give us amnesty, we'll give you a wall. They got amnesty. We never got a wall. And yes, Nick says that the most, is overstaying, their visas. Most issues we have with the issue is people overstaying visas. Yes. Yes. And that is one of the things that they say that is the most, for as far as illegals goes, overstaying visas. But I think there might be a problem actually with that statistic. And here's why I say that. There's a lot of places out there that don't report some of the metadata involved with tracking and giving proper statistics in that kind of stuff. They don't really want to put it out there, because with the amount of people, sex trafficking, cartel coming across the border, the moving in and out, how can you have accurate numbers? I don't know. But anyway, I'm suspect of those. I'll just put it that way. I'm suspect of those numbers. Yes, I'm sure that is the most, but that doesn't necessarily say how much outside of that, there are. Not at all. Doesn't say how much outside of that there is. But, but that's the thing, though. President Reagan, we have a, immigration issue. We have illegals. We need to fix immigration. Let's do this. The first Bush said, we have a border crisis. Clinton, Bill, we have a border crisis. Second Bush, we have a border crisis. Even President Obama, we have a border crisis. President Trump, let's stop the border crisis. Now he's outside of his mind. And the funny thing is, all he's asking for is more fencing, a wall, more wall, not a complete across the whole 700 miles, just let's fill in some holes that we definitely have some issues with. All I'm asking for is $5.7 billion in order to help, do this. But it's not all going to be spent on the wall. This is going to border security, and for them to say, this is where we need it. This is where we need it. This is how we're going to use this money, okay? It's going to them. It's not just 5.7 to construct a wall. This is going to all of border security, period. Democrats don't want to, that they don't want to talk about it. This represents less than 1% of the annual budget, and they are unwilling to budge on this whatsoever. It doesn't matter that most of these people have already voted for it, that have already voted yes. Yeah, all previous presidents, yes. You have the audio on your drive somewhere over there for the Schumer, Pelosi, Feinstein, etc., all voted for a wall prior to Trump, even recently during the Obama administration. Yes. And you said you have the audio on a drive over there somewhere. Yeah, all previous presidents, but here's the thing that I find interesting, ironic, funny about this. They blame this whole thing on a failure of the immigration policies. Okay. And they've been talking about this since basically the 80s. Okay. So let's see. So let's say the last 30 years they've been talking about this. You mean to tell me within the last 30 years, nobody has written any kind of a law in order to help improve, fix the holes with the immigration system? This is on Congress. I mean, if they were truly interested in fixing the immigration, wouldn't they have done it? Since 1984, I think. I think 84, I could be wrong, in the 80s. So you're talking a good 30 plus years. If they were really interested in fixing the problem, wouldn't they have done it by now? Why haven't they? Point is, they're not interested in fixing the problem. They want the illegals to come across. They want that because this way they can cart them wherever they want to in order to change the color of a state, which is only 2 cents out of the budget. Yes, it includes seismic sensors, cameras, etc. Yes, absolutely. And thank you for the follow over there in Mixer. I do appreciate that. Elsith Hero? Else the Hero? At Else the Hero? Whatever. I'm bad with names. But yeah, which is only 2 cents out of the budget. And yes, it includes seismic sensors, cameras, and etc. Yeah, so I mean, the overall $5.7 billion, either 5.6 or 5.7, I don't remember which, out of that, less than 1% of the annual budget or the federal budget, I don't know if that's annual or not, I don't know. So one of the things that the Democrats said was, that they were not going to negotiate while the government was shut down. And President Trump signed some type of a resolution, if I'm not mistaken, for 3 weeks to open the government back up. And okay, now hilarious, guys. All right, during the shutdown, I did my taxes. Holy crap, I got my taxes back. Wow. People got their food stamps. People got their Medicare, Medicaid. You know, people got their Social Security checks. You know, people got that. The military, you know, kept doing stuff, kept protecting. ICE was still there. You know, I guess there were some issues with the TSA. You know, whatever. Maybe them guys aren't quite as dedicated as some of the other people. You know, but here's what it amounts with the government shutdown. You see, only the non-essentials are sent home. And they're not even sent home. You see, there were some issues with this whenever President Obama shut down the government because he forced, you know, people to shut down certain things like the World War II memorial. Okay, I'm sure you guys remember what happened with that. He forced that. You know, he didn't want that to happen. There were some other people involved in that that said, no, these people are coming in here. But he demanded that it be closed. No, I'm making an example of this shutdown. I'm going to make this hurt as many people as possible. The fact of the matter is, had he not done that, the effect would have been minimum. The effect now is minimum because all it is non-essentials are sent home. Now, before you start, you know, woe is the people that were sent home. Here's what happens. You see, they can still come to work. And they don't come to work for the love of the job. They don't come to work because they have some sort of sense of duty to their job, to the person whom they're working for. This isn't a loyalty thing. This isn't a love of God and country thing. They are doing this for a paycheck. Yes, a delayed paycheck, but they are still doing it for a paycheck. They're going to get paid. It's called back pay. And as soon as the paychecks come back again, they're getting their back pay. So they're still getting paid for the time they want to. Now, they don't have to come to work since it is a shutdown, but they can, and if they do, they will get back pay. Okay? So it's not like it's a complete, you're still getting paid. You're still going to work. You can, at least, you know. Furlough workers, huh? I don't know why that thing is splitting some of the words like that. I mean, there should be a hyphen in here somewhere. I don't know why it does that. There we go. All right. Move that chat window a little bit to try to make some of this stuff a little easier to read. Holy crap. That is so annoying. It's a little chat window, you know, it doesn't use hyphens and it doesn't, you know, word wrap. It doesn't do that. It just cuts the word and puts it on the bottom and makes you go, you know, read half the word and then you got to, never mind. You guys don't want to hear about my problems. I have issues. My issues have issues. I just kicked the camera. I did it again. Okay, anyway. It is weird, yes. Yes, it is weird. I had to move it, make it a little less weird. So that's what we're talking about. They're still getting their paychecks, okay? This isn't anything hugely whatever, but they're still getting their paychecks. Okay, now here's the thing, though, too. Okay, so they claimed that they wasn't going to negotiate while the government was shut down. So President Trump said, okay, sure. We'll open the government back up after 35 days. We'll get those paychecks a-flowing. And we'll do this for 3 weeks. This way we can come to the negotiating table. And as of yet, Game Over Talk Show. Hi. How you doing, sir? Good to see you over there in Twitch land. So, 3 weeks. Let's duke it out. Let's talk about it. Now, one of the things that President Trump has said is that, you know, if they don't act, then I got a pen, I got a phone. I'm going to go ahead and declare a national emergency and get this thing built using defense spending or the defense spending fund in order to build the wall. Give that to them. Okay. Now, here is an aspect of this that I do completely and wholly believe in. According to the Constitution, one of the fundamental jobs enumerated jobs, not just that they can do this. They are supposed to do this. This is kind of you have to do this even, and that is secure the borders. What Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution is securing the border. So President Trump says that if they don't do it, I'm going to declare a state of emergency. Now, granted, I think that's a little overreach, okay? Because that he's going to get shut down. You know that they're going to have some type of an injunction. They're going to file something. He's going to have to fight it in court and battle it out. Who knows? I don't know. I don't think it would be the right move necessarily to... I talked about this like last week or the week before last. I don't remember which. A couple weeks ago. And I pretty well talked myself into it with the whole, declaring a national emergency and doing it. But I tell you what, man, I'm not fully invested in that. I can't really say yes. I can't really say no. I don't want to see him do it like that because I don't want him to use unilateral powers in order to do something. Granted, yes, it should be done. Constitutionally speaking, it is their job to make sure that border is secured. Fact of the matter is we need to fix immigration. We need to fix this stuff. We need a lot of things. We need to do it. You know what, guys? That's really all I got for today. That's it. That's pretty well the show. So thank you guys very much for joining in, for tuning in, I had to turn the music up. It was kind of low. Didn't hear it. But yeah, that pretty well consists of the show. Monday night, we'll be talking remakes on the movie review. Me and Mr. Matt Vecker. I will have a new desk. That's cool. I'm excited about that. Got to put it together. Cool. Nice stuff. Whatever machine. Hey. Anyway, thank you guys for coming out, for participating. So y'all just have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, even though it is almost over. Loving that weather.